we're back in Dorset and we're going to go into Shaftesbury today, and Shaftesbury is where the Clubmen leaders were arrested back on August the 2nd or the 3rd, pre-Battle of Hampden Hill. So once you get to Shaftesbury, we'll go to Castle Hill and we'll take it up from there. See you there. Right, we're in Shaftesbury and we're just going to walk down to Castle Hill, which is at the bottom part of this area here. But at the start of this pathway in, you can actually see Duncliffe Hill over my left shoulder on your right. So that's what I want to say really. And now what we'll do is we're walking down to Castle Hill where the Clubmen rendezvoused in August the 2nd or 3rd. Come this way.
Okay.
This is what's left of the castle bit on Castle Hill. The fortifications, earthworks, but there's not a lot to see here. So what we'll do is we'll go down the bottom and we'll film up. Right, we're at the bottom of Castle Hill, which is right behind me. And on the 2nd or 3rd of August, this is where the Clubmen met. And they met here, I hear you ask, because Fairfax had arrived in the county of Dorset and he was on the preparations to siege Sherborne Castle. Sir Lewis Dives was the governor of Sherborne Castle, the royalist, and the Clubmen were in communication with Sir Lewis Dives, and they've been in communication with Sir Lewis Dives since the beginning of March, when Sir Lewis Dives gave them some colours and some horses, and they were outraged about Goring's atrocities in the area, and Sir Lewis Dives was sympathetic to them. Now by May things have changed, because by May Sir Lewis Dives wasn't dealing with Goring's forces, and you can read in the Mercury Protestant, which is a parliamentarian paper, it might be True Observations, it's one of those two, but there's a wording in there about the Clubmen changing their sympathies, and they weren't going to pay money to the royalist troops anymore to Sir Lewis Dives because of Goring. And they just thought, unless you deal with Goring, we're going to join with the parliamentarians. And they were threatening to join with Graves and Colonel Weldon in the west. But all that's got to be with a pinch of salt, really, taken on a pinch of salt, because a lot of it's parliamentarian propaganda, which would have been in this area at the time. But that's why they were here, because they were here and with the history of Sherborne Castle with Sir Lewis Dives, and they were here because of Fairfax and now arrived on the scene. Now, Fairfax had got wind of the Clubmen being here and ordered Colonel Fleetwood in with 1,000 horse, and he stormed into the area and surrounded all the Clubmen here and arrested them. And they arrested about 50 of the leaders, and some of the wording there of the day was great, because they said there was John May of Melbury, and he was a notable rogue in the area. And there was John Lovell of Somerset, and he was a notable stickler, and he was against godly men. Now these Clubmen leaders were taken back to Sherborne, as I've mentioned, and among the people arrested here was Thomas Young, the lawyer, and George Hollis, but he was called George Hawes from here. But one notable person wasn't captured here was Thomas Brevell. Now Thomas Brevell, not being arrested, gave the chance to the club in this area to get organised, and they gathered around the area to discuss what they wanted to do about the arrest that happened at Sherborne. It happened here, and their leaders were taken back to Sherborne. But that led to August the 4th, and 2,000 to 4,000 men gathered on Hampden Hill under the command of Thomas Brevell, and that clash with Oliver Cromwell. Right.
Hello.
Hello. We're still here at Castle Hill, but we have an exclusive today. We have, it's what they are, isn't it? Yep. We have a Clubmen map in the works.
Oh God, that's amazing.
It is. It's a very good friend of mine, and Sheila's behind the camera there, called Stuart McCarthy, and he's actually MacArthur.
MacArthur.
Stuart MacArthur. And he's done this fantastic piece of artwork. So what we're in the process of doing now is getting this done on an A2, a big print of it, and it will be available. So there you are.
Yeah. Watch this space.
Watch this space, lovely thing. Keep an eye on the Clubmen 1645 website,
Yeah.
where this will be available.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lovely.
Great stuff.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart MacArthur.